All right, man. So could we jump into the pricing page of SellerVue just to see exactly what we get and what are different plans, please?
Yeah. Yeah. So, in terms of the pricing page,
Or if if it's some kind of update or something, we can, just mention
yeah, we
here.
can mention it. So,
Yeah.
like what I've decided to do for just this kind of subset of like especially your audience is that I wanted to offer something pretty unique that would help sellers obviously keep more money that they as much as they could. So what we're going to do is a lifetime membership to the platform where it's going to be 497. So lifetime, they get going to get access to all future updates, everything in the future, and they won't have to pay anything more. Or I think they broke it down into three equal payments. So if you don't want to do the 497, you can do three payments of I think 197 for three equal payments, and then your platform's yours, and that also includes all the onboarding as well. So we will actually, my team will set everything up for you. So obviously we'll have some questions back and forth in terms of like what SKUs do you have, descriptions. Because sometimes, you probably know that the supplier invoice and what you call your product sometimes aren't the same product. So we just want to make sure what your supplier is calling things and
Yeah.
what you're calling things
Yeah.
and the SKU name, that all matches up. And so we'll kind of hold your hand, walk you through the entire platform for you. And usually, with that, we charge, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, and we're going to include that in the 497 as well. So when sellers sign up, they pick whatever plan they want, and we'll kind of take care of the rest. Get their account set up for them, hold their hand through it, show them how to do the purchase order invoices and all that kind of stuff, and then they're off to the races. And if, of course, if they have any other questions, we got full customer support team that will kind of help walk them through.
All right, man. That's truly a generous offer. Appreciate it. And so in the description, we're gonna have like maybe some sort of code or something for people to kind of once they kind of go and on board, they'll mention maybe my name, Vova Evan, or something along these lines. So people, your team knows that it came from kind of our conversation here. That'll be nice. And yeah, pretty awesome. You mentioned that kind of for this price, they're able to onboard and use it. And hopefully, if they do, that'll be nice if they spread the word as well, because that's a pretty generous offer. So that'll be nice.
Yep.
And also, then for those who are just maybe, there might be, I don't know, maybe a limited time offer, or I'm not sure. Hopefully, it will stay for some time, but then, things might change with time. But, and maybe for those who are like just maybe they want to try it monthly or something. Is there like a monthly pricing
Yeah.
plan, or is there some
Yeah.
other?
Yeah. I mean, they can go on to, if they go into sellervue.com, you can see the pricing page at the top. They can scroll down. Um,
Would you mind sharing
and
it just for people to see if that's okay?
oh, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
because then they can see also what's included, right, in each plan. That will be helpful. Yeah.
You can head over to sellervue.com,
Hmm.
um, and you'll see the pricing page. So you can
Hmm.
roll down here,
Hmm. Hmm.
and there's this kind of growth plan, and this is they can test it here, and this is a kind of another plan. So like I said before at the beginning of the call, we do take private clients. So say for example that big half a billion dollar company, they became private clients where we do all this for them. So oftentimes if sellers don't want to do this kind of stuff, we handle it for them. Um, so that then includes, obviously, they get access to the tool, they'll get access to some data analytic platform, an integrated profit and loss, traffic conversion dashboard, some other inventory analytics tools as well. But that's kind of our scale plan, and that's something that for anyone who's interested in, we can book a call and we can chat about that. But generally, what ends up happening is sellers hop into the growth plan, or for your sellers that want to opt in for that lifetime plan, they can do that. And then sometimes it makes sense to just be like, you know what, Mark, I want you to do all this work for me, and then we take off that work for them, and we work with the accountants and bookkeepers and get everything squared away for them.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that those private clients, they might have different kind of quotes offered to them because the value and the amount of your work, it sounds like. So,
Yeah, I mean,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
So generally, I mean, it starts at like 199 a month. Um, you know, whether they're doing, one or two orders a month, and then it kind of just goes from there. So
Hmm.
we have a full stack accounting, cost accounting team with us. So we don't do actual bookkeeping. We do cost accounting. And then we work with sellers, bookkeepers, and accountants, so that instead of I don't know if whether you have to do this, but I'm sure the sellers that you're listening to that are listening, once a month or however many times as your bookkeeper says to you, "Hey, I really need your costs for these SKUs," and then you go through email ducking, where you don't really answer the email because you don't have the information for them. And then eventually your accountant gets hold of you and you'll be like, I really need these unit costs. Um, so whether you do it by yourself, and you're using your platform here, all you got to do is you can give your accountant access to the platform, and
Hmm.
your accountant can pop in and grab whatever information they need. So especially most accountants are just going to need the SKU, and whether you choose a weighted landed cost or you choose your
Uh-huh.
final landed
Interesting.
cost.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, so if you're keeping up with your shipments and you're keeping up with the invoices, you never need to talk to your bookkeeper again. They'll have all this information readily available. But oftentimes, as you get to maybe like $1 million seller or 100,000 a month, you might not want to do this, and you might not want to do this, right? So, and that's where this kind of scale plan comes in, because we'll kind of take off that for you and do it all for you.
100%, man. So we're gonna have the pricing page included down in the description. Again, maybe some kind of a code or something to, if people join with the kind of lifetime offer that you have, or maybe if they just request a quote or something, they can mention they came from this video. It'd be pretty cool. Also, there's
Yeah,
a yearly option. That means once per year we can pay. We're now seeing the monthly, and then there's the yearly. All right.
yeah,
So this gives us 20% off, I see. Instead of 2,400 or so, like 1990 for the scale, and the growth is again, instead of what would that be, 720, like 588 or so for the
yeah,
growth. And
yeah.
there's a community just to join, to kind of get on the email list, to see the value, to get like the access to the community, right? To then kind of get familiar, perhaps
Yeah.
with some
Yeah. So
trainings,
yeah,
and
we
and
just
then
we just started this community probably, I don't know, like maybe a month ago, just to kind of help sellers kind of understand not only the importance of tracking costs properly, but also like I explained, like when we chatted before, my major passion is building and selling businesses. Um, but when it comes to actually selling your business, that's the biggest payday that you're going to have in e-commerce. And the more data you have and the more accurate data that you have, the bigger your multiple is going to be. And if you have, a paper trail of information of exactly what your costs are, your associated invoices, your supplier information, and everything kind of, you know, readily and available to your buyer, your valuation is going to skyrocket, because you just look a lot more professional. You're a lot more trustworthy, because
yeah.
I can see that the stock value is 91,000 here, and I'm going to get a check for 91,869 versus you know maybe if you're using a spreadsheet and you have an error, maybe you had it overestimated, in which case you're going to have a very angry buyer, because you overpaid on the inventory. Or you're going to do yourself a disservice and you're going to undervalue it and be like, the value of the 69,000 units is only 75,000. And now you gave away $15,000 across, how many SKUs that might be. So, you know, the point of this is eventually you're going to want to sell your business. And if this is in leading up to that sale, whether it's now or 6 months or 12 months or maybe it's 2, 3 years from now, each month, if you're as profitable as possible and you're showing as much value as possible, you're going to get that big payday at the end.
Yeah, pretty nice, man. Thank you for sharing, for educating us. Again, in the description, we're gonna have the pricing page of SellerVue, and we'll have the website for people to check to see what's up. We try to cover most of it in this call, but if there's any more questions left, please drop comments and ask, and or go and join the community and kind of sign up for a plan. Depends on what you feel like you need, and then kind of take it from there as well. But definitely comments are welcome always. Also, like if you are interested in what Mark shared, the 497 kind of access, that's on the growth plan, I believe, right? That's the plan that people will get. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
on the middle plan, 497 per life. I think it's pretty generous because you kind of get the access to the platform, and then kind of for, in my opinion, for this kind of good value, spreading the word would be really nice. So sharing it around, or with with your friends, other sellers and communities, that'll be cool. So that offer is also in the description. You can mention some coupon code or something like Vova or Vova Evan, or mention kind of that you came from this video, and then on the onboarding you will kind of get support, and the guys will take care of you.